What up, everybody? Good morning and a happy Tuesday, May 13th to all of you. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. A big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you're tuning in. If it's on the classic radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available online to stream at sportstalk1051.com. Download the app, take it on the go, get your Alexa devices, say Alexa, play WAYY. Of course, video streams are also up and rolling on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitch this morning. But what do we got on our game plan? We got a full-up game plan here this morning. Brew Crew falling last night to the Cleveland Guardians 5-0. Freddie Peralta picking up the loss, dropping to 4-3 on the season. But he becomes the fastest brewer to reach 1,000 career strikeouts and became just the fourth Brewers pitcher to reach the 1,000 career strikeout mark. But that may not have been the biggest news from yesterday. Brandon Woodruff suffering a minor setback. So after talking it up, and if you were going to be going to maybe Saturday's game against the Twins, maybe it looked like you were going to see Brandon Woodruff make his debut, and that's not going to be the case anymore. Positive thing is it has nothing to do with his shoulder injury, but the negative, obviously, that his debut is going to be delayed here. He's got a ankle issue, a little bit of an ankle issue going on right now. But Pat Murphy saying yesterday he tried to go pitch on it, didn't go the way he wanted. So he said, "I'm not ready." Sounds like he's going to make another minor league rehab start, and then we'll see after that. So, but kind of it is disappointing. It's got to be disappointing for Brandon Woodruff. It's disappointing for fans. It's disappointing, for the team and such. But definitely, I would expect more disappointing for Brandon Woodruff because he has just been waiting so long to get back on that major league field and pitch in a major league game, and to be so flipping close, and to have an ankle issue pop up now. Gosh, that's gotta stink. But Brewers will try to pick up a win tonight in Game 2 of their series against the Guardians. Quinn Priester is going to be on the mound for the Crew. So we'll talk some Brewers. We'll talk some baseball throughout the morning here. Take a look at tonight's matchup, not only with Quinn Priester on the mound, but Logan Allen going for the Guardians, left-handed starting pitcher. So take a look at that. We got some football talk that we'll hit up. Plenty of Packers nugget to get to that happened yesterday. So first up, we know one game on the schedule. We know the Week 16 game. The schedule release officially going to be full out tomorrow, but we'll have some more games kind of getting leaked out and revealed today. Yesterday, I mean, Eagles fans, almost a quarter of their schedule already released. Bears also had a couple games announced too. But Week 16, December 20th, it's a Saturday. Packers traveling to Chicago. That's is going to be a Fox game, so don't worry about the streaming part of it. But December 20th, Saturday game, going to Chi-Town. Now, if we had followed kind of what the NFL did last year in terms of their Christmas Day games, it kind of felt like if they followed the same formula, that it might have looked like Green Bay was also going to play on Christmas Day on one of those Netflix games. That possibly could still be the case, but one of the Christmas Day games was announced yesterday too, and it doesn't involve the Packers or the Bears or the other Saturday game on December 20th, which was Commanders-Eagles, because the thought was it might be, okay, could be Packers-Commanders Christmas Day or Packers-Eagles Christmas Day, because Packers play those teams, Bears play those teams too, and it still possibly could, but it looks like it's going to be, well, one of them is officially announced. Chiefs and Broncos going to be on Christmas Day. And Black Friday too was that the Bears and Commanders one? No, Bears Eagles. Bears Eagles was also Black Friday, I believe, too. So I'll have to double check that. So could be, I guess, still Packers Eagles on Christmas Day, but we'll see if any more. There'll be a couple more leaked today and such, but for sure tomorrow we will know the full schedule. So you had that yesterday, but then probably something Packers fans don't want to necessarily hear or what we want to talk about at this point in time in the early part of May. But so first off, we had coordinators speaking to the media yesterday. That would be Rich Bisaccia, that would be Jeff Hafley, and that would be Adam Stenavich. And Jair Alexander was asked, Jeff Hafley and Hafley playing it close to the chest and didn't really want to go into potential scenarios and such. So, nothing there. However, Elgton Jenkins has been in the news the last couple of days here, and not for good reasons. A couple of days ago, apparently TMZ reported that there was an issue with him and his buddies at a strip club down in Atlanta. And then Stenavich, the offensive coordinator yesterday, revealing that Elgton Jenkins wasn't with the team right now because they're doing some workouts and didn't reveal why. And there's been some rumblings leading up to this in the last week or so that maybe he's not full on happy about playing center. That's kind of a rumor that's being thrown out there, being moved over to the center spot. According to our friend Rob Domofsky, he had posted Adam Stenavich said, based on the conversations he's had with Elgton Jenkins about moving to center, quote, I think he's open to it. So that's, as Rob says, so that's not the reason Jenkins isn't here for the offseason workouts. Stenavich said he's not here for reasons other than that. Okay. So we got an issue there. Maybe it's related to the whole strip club incidents and such. But then yesterday, kind of a weird post from Adam Schefter. It's just a very random post, but nonetheless weird. And he posted that Packers general manager Brian Gutekunst met last week with Jayden Reed's agent Drew Rosenhaus to clarify the wide receiver status in Green Bay after the team drafted Matthew Golden and Savion Williams. The team said it will not affect Reed's status as its top receiver per source. Just such a random post comment. And then it's like, okay, at first blush, it kind of feels like, is this Jayden Reed upset about the Packers drafting Matthew Golden and Williams? I mean, if there's a receiver that's currently on the roster for Green Bay, Jayden Reed's probably the one that has the least amount to worry about. But then on first blush, or then on second blush, it's kind of like, okay, this almost could feel like just an agent, in this case, Drew Rosenhaus, that I think every sports fan, every football fan knows who he is. There's a thought out there, was this Rosenhaus going to Schefter and asking Schefter to post this? Because let's face it, a lot of insiders, their sources are agents. And then if that's the case, what's the end game with this? Is it just to boost up his client and the PR part of it? It was just weird. Just kind of weird. So let's hit this up too. Talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the waters of Green Bay and the Fox River or something over there. But it's like, really? Come on now. So we'll talk some football. We'll talk some green and gold and what else some of the other coordinators had to say yesterday at their pressers with the local media and such. So we got that. We'll also talk. It is a Grind My Gears Tuesday, so maybe that's grinding some of your gears. It's a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So let us know what's grinding your gears. You can hit us up with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or comment on the video streams or hit me up on the socials. So we'll hit that up. We'll play a little crystal ball. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. Let's get things rolling here this morning, though, shall we? Let's dive right into it. We'll talk some green and gold. We'll talk some Brewers and throw in a little hoops talk. If you're a T-Wolves fan, your team's 1 win away from going to the Western Conference Finals after picking up a W last night against the Warriors. So 1 win away. Knicks are 1 win away to knocking out the Celtics too. So here we go. Stanley Cup playoffs continuing to go to move on as well. So plenty to get to here this morning. We'll take our first break and then jump right into it. Quick break, and we'll be back in just a few minutes to get going on this on the leadoff on this Tuesday morning. Blanket on what to do for lunch or dinner. Hey, don't stress about it. It's easy with Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. They've got daily meals, fried chicken, Chinese food, pizza, chef specials, and a huge selection of easy take and bake meals that are made fresh in store daily. Plus, they'll even get the grills and smokers out, and you could grab yourself some ribs, some pulled pork, or even some half chickens. Making plans for your meals just got a whole lot easier and tastier with the help from Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, especially when we're getting to that time of year. Maybe you've got a lot of ball tournaments with the kiddos or games going on and such where time's kind of an issue and you just need something quick and something good. Hy-Vee can help you out there with their quick meals options. We do that quite a bit in our household. So speaking of Hy-Vee, our sponsor of the Man Cave podcast. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Man Cave podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. If it's on Apple, Spotify, even on YouTube, follow the YouTube channel there. And if you don't mind, if you got a few seconds, it would really help us out if you could give it a 5-star rating, especially like on Apple or Spotify, and a positive review on Apple, because that's what helps the internet's spread the word of the Man Cave podcast a little bit more. Don't know exactly how it works, but it works. It's one of those things. More popular, gets out there more. So a couple comments to catch up on before we get going here. Joe on the video stream saying those darn Brewers, let's get some darn runs. C-Bomb saying, can you elaborate on the Elgton Jenkins incident? What happened? Well, let me try to put this politely in case we've got some younger ears. Otherwise, you can Google it. Let's just say him and his buddies went to be entertained, wasn't happy with the quality of the entertainment, tried to get their money back. A spat ensued. Police were called, and apparently they got it all worked out. But otherwise you can Google it and such and get more details on that. But that's essentially what happened, according to rumors and reports out there. C-Bomb also saying, and why would Reed care about the receivers drafted? They have a number of wide receivers with contract extensions that are about to be due. They're not going to be able to keep them all. They had to draft wide receivers. You said it. Reed has nothing to worry about. And here's so if we're leading off a little bit with a little bit of green and gold stuff, let's start off with the Jayden Reed thing. This almost feels to me, and I've gone back and forth on this in my mind. And again, I'm one of those, like, my mind works like, okay, it always asks the question, why? Why does somebody do this? Why does somebody say this? Why did this happen? Or what could be the reason for this? It's like, why and what? I always try to figure it out, knowing that I'll never know probably the truthful answer in instances like this. And in the Jayden Reed scenario, it's just weird. It's just really weird that Adam Schefter, maybe an accumulation of information, would just kind of randomly post that. And it was just kind of a little bit of a head scratcher. Like Rob Domosky said, interesting that such a meeting would even be necessary. But perhaps Reed wanted clarity, which, okay, maybe that's a possible scenario. There's no question that's a possible scenario. But the guy's also just entering his third year. Okay, he's still a young receiver in this thing. So, I mean, it's not like it's a Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, whatever type of scenario where we're even entering his final year where he's due for a huge payday, for crying out loud. He's wrapped up his second year. So, and again, of all the receivers on the roster, if there was one that had probably the least amount to worry about, Green Bay drafted a couple wideouts is Jayden Reed. You can make the case for Romeo. Okay, entering his final year. Got some off the field stuff that happened last year where he got suspended. Then you look at the concussion history. Obviously with Christian Watson. Dotavian Wicks dealing with some drops last year, but wasn't as high of a draft pick as Jayden Reed. So it's kind of a head scratcher in that department. This is why I kind of keep going back, and it sounds like that maybe this is a new agent for Jayden Reed that maybe just recently hired Drew Rosenhaus. And part of me is just wondering now, is this Drew Rosenhaus and Jayden Reed's representation, kind of doing a little PR stunt? Kind of like going out there and maybe making a good first impression, if you know what I'm getting at, and just trying to maybe set the tone right away, like, hey, Reed's still going to be a dude. He's still the number one guy in Green Bay, and kind of getting some early setting the bar, setting the tone for some future contract negotiations. You know what I mean? Like just giving out some public positive PR sort of thing. The more I think about it and the more I've gone back and forth on this thing, it feels like this is straight up from an agent perspective. I'm sure Goody and Rosenhaus met, especially if Rosenhaus has been recently hired or is a new agent for Jayden Reed. I'm sure they recently, talked and met and guarantee you Rosenhaus has more clients that play for the Packers too. So it might not have just been a straight up meeting or whatever about Jayden Reed. It could have been about a boatload of topics, or it could have easily just been a single mention. And because it's Rosenhaus and because you're trying to get some positive PR out there, you take something so small and something that's probably not even newsworthy, but you make it newsworthy by going to Schefter or any NFL analyst or insider and saying, hey, can you throw this out there? Because we know a lot of the information and a lot of the sources from these insiders are from agents, especially when it comes to that free agency opening day. When you've got all of those reporters all of a sudden, breaking contracts, so-and-so is signed with who, and you're like, how the heck? How do they get it so quick? Pay attention to how they phrase a lot of those tweets too, or those posts, especially when it's free agent day. Right at the end, what do they always say for a lot of them? Contract negotiated by so-and-so, so-and-so. Deal done by so-and-so and so-and-so. Oh, you got the info from the agents. That's what it was. So I just feel like, initially when you first read it, it's kind of interesting to see how it's worded, because it gives the impression that maybe Jayden Reed wasn't happy. But then I think take a quick step back, and I'm guilty of this too. Like the first time I read, I'm like, why does Jayden Reed have any issue of being unhappy or being confused about his role? And I think if take a step back, you kind of look at it again, I'm like, I think this is more of an agent thing and just kind of setting the tone, maybe for some future negotiations. Because remember, Jayden Reed's not a first year or a first round draft pick. So second round pick, 4-year contract. He's entering his third year. Can probably guess that after this year or at some point this year, maybe in the middle of the season, they're probably going to work on a contract extension. Probably going to get that thing done. Because let's be real, of the current wide receivers on this roster that are not rookies, so Golden and Savion Williams, I think if you were to power rank them in terms of who's likely to get an extension at this point, it's probably Jayden Reed. So the more I think about it, the more I've gone back and forth on this. This just feels like a straight up, because it was so random. This just feels like a straight up agent post PR sort of thing. So again, I'm guilty of it. Like initially, first reactions are like, oh crap. what's going on now? Do we got more drama going on here? I don't know if I'm there yet. I don't know if I'm there. This just speaks of a agent type of move. So, but on the flip side, with the Jenkins one, there might be something there. There might be a little something there. Because I believe it was last week, Jason Wilde on his show, Wilde and Tausch, kind of made a little bit of a note or a little bit of a comment about there might be something going on with Jenkins. And I was like, okay, I don't know. And then you have this incident at an establishment, and then he's not with the team right now for workouts. And okay, some veterans don't show up and such. But then you get Steno's comments, Adam Stenovich's comments about him not being there. And he's not here. Let me bring up the exact quote. Adam Stenovich, this was from, again, Rob Demovsky. Adam Stenovich said, based on the conversations he's had with Elgton Jenkins about moving to center, quote, I think he's open to it. Not a very good or reassuring comment when you sit there and say, I think he's open to it. I think. It's not a more definite, I know he's open to it. I know he's good with it. He's excited about it. It's, I think. It's like, oh, okay. And then, as Rob says, so that's not the reason Jenkins isn't here for offseason workouts? Question. Steno says he's not here for reasons other than that. Maybe it's related to the incident at that establishment. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. So there's a little bit of smoke. Question is just how much of a flame is there? There's a little bit of smoke, but how big are those flames? That, to me, between Reed and Jenkins, the Jenkins one has a little bit more there. I don't know if he's unhappy about playing center. Would he rather play guard at this point? Remember, he's got a contract. He's getting paid as one of the highest paid guards out there. So maybe he's just not wanting to play. I don't want to throw out possible, wrong rumors or anything like that, but it's interesting because the highest paid center right now, according to Spot Track, is Creed Humphrey. So let me just kind of give some numbers here, compare it here a little bit, shall we? Just to see what Elgton Jenkins is getting paid compared to maybe the highest paid center in the NFL right now. So Elgton Jenkins. Okay, let's do a little bit of a refresher on his Spot Track. So he originally signed a $48 million deal. This year, he is making in base salary $11.7 million. That prorated 4.8. Next year, it jumps up to $18.5 million. Okay. So Creed Humphrey, let's bring up his contract. Now, it's not going to be all on, same timeline or length in that either. So it's going to be a little bit different. But Creed Humphrey, for instance, he signed a 4-year, $72 million deal. Now, he signed this just recently, too. So, I mean, we know values go up, right? I mean, they go up every year. So it's not that far off. It really isn't. And when you look at it in 2025 cash terms, Elton's going to get $12.8 million. This year, Creed Humphrey's going to get $7.2 million. So I don't know if it's a money thing, to be honest with you. I struggle to see where this is potentially a money thing with Elgton Jenkins, because he's still getting paid pretty handsomely right now, even with moving from guard to center. So I don't think it's a money thing. Is it just play thing? But he's played center in a pinch, and he's gotten reps at center. So I don't know. That's kind of weird too. Maybe he's just not comfortable playing center. But that's something we got to watch and maybe kind of take a gander at. Some other comments though from the coordinators yesterday. Let's start off with Rich Bisaccia. Said that he thinks Keyshawn Nixon is a little bit more, he's a little bit more open to being a returner again this year. He'll be in the mix, obviously, with McCole Hardman over there and Williams. Maybe that kind of takes Nixon out of there, but Bisaccia did say yesterday that he believes Nixon will still be in the mix. When he was asked about his decision to return for another season with the Packers, he kind of mentioned that he felt like he's failed Matt LaFleur at times. He brought up special teams issues in the playoff loss to San Francisco, Philly, the botched coverage against Chicago and such. So, he felt, apparently, just to kind of summarize, felt like he's failed at times, and he owes it to Matt LaFleur to do a better job and wants to kind of, come back maybe a little bit with a chip on his shoulder. Jeff Halfley, also chatting a little bit with the media, said the thing that he liked the most about his first season was how hard, according to Rob Demoski, how hard and physical his unit played at the end of the season. Quote, "I thought we came alive. I thought we played harder than our opponent. The test is now to get back to where you left off as fast as possible." He was singing the praises of Edgerrin Cooper this offseason, saying he's gotten bigger. He said when you see him now, he looks different. He's bigger. He's pushing 240 pounds. To put it in perspective, he was about 229 last year. And when he was asked about Jair Alexander and what it would mean if something is worked out, Halfley taking the approach, I think, same page out of the Matt LaFleur book, not really going into a deep dive, saying, quote, "I think we'll leave that up to see what happens rather than talk in any hypotheticals." Outside of Stanovich's comments about Elgton Jenkins, he said the coaches have talked this offseason about how to get Tucker Kraft more involved and trying to get him the ball more as well. So those were just some of the few comments that kind of, probably were the biggest takeaways from a presser that you can get from coordinators at the beginning of May. But yesterday, that all wasn't the Packers news. The only Packers news to come out. We've got our first game on the dockets for the schedule. It was announced yesterday that the Packers will be traveling to Chicago, Week 16, December 20th, for a Saturday game to take on the Bears. So, we were talking about it the other day. What do you look at when it comes to schedule returns? Are there certain games and such? And, well, a lot of them, at least for me, is division games. And where do you go, and when do these division teams come to your town? My guess would be, does that mean that Chicago is going to be coming to Green Bay a little bit earlier in the season? Which, whatever. I'd rather have Detroit and Minnesota come to Green Bay later on in the season. So if the trade-off is that we go to Chicago late in the season, while it could be a lot windier late in the season over there and make things a little bit more difficult for Green Bay, if the trade-off means getting Detroit and Minnesota to come to Green Bay later on, I'm fine with that trade. But, with the announcement that it came down yesterday that Green Bay and Chicago would be playing Saturday before Christmas, the 20th, it kind of got people thinking, if the NFL follows the formula that they had last year, there's a good chance then that Green Bay would play on Christmas Day, and those would be on Netflix. We were talking about it now with schedule releases. That's a factor that a lot of people have to take into consideration now too, is like, okay, which games are where, so I know if I have to sign up for something, it's not just on Fox and CBS or NBC or ESPN anymore. It's all these other different streaming platforms. So I got to figure out if I'm going to get a free trial, or I got to go to somebody's house or find somewhere to watch it, or or sign up for a month or whatever. So there was that thought. It's like, oh, okay, so does this mean that Green Bay is going to play on Christmas on Netflix? Possibly still could happen, but the formula last year was the 4 teams that played right before Christmas. Remember those Saturday games? All 4 played on Christmas. That's not necessarily the case so far. So far, key phrase there, so far, because it was also announced that Chiefs and Broncos are playing on Christmas Day. So we'll see if maybe that gets announced today. Is that today? I think it's today the Netflix one gets announced. Could be wrong, but I know there's going to be a couple more games announced on the schedule for today. But the full schedule will get released on Wednesday, so we'll note all over there. But so we got one. We got one. It's not a home game, so you still can't necessarily plan out your visits to Green Bay and such. But what do you make of the Elgton Jenkins and the Jayden Reed, type of stuff that came out yesterday for Green Bay? What do you make of it? To kind of wrap it up for me, I guess I'm not too worried about the Jayden Reed thing. It's just weird, but the way it was presented and the way that it was thrown out there, it just screams of a PR type of stunt from a new agent and an agent by the name of Drew Rosenhaus. It just that to me is what kind of stands out. So I'm not too worried about that. I hope. The Elton one's a little bit different. That one is like, okay, I think there's a little bit of smoke there. It's just the biggest question is how big is that flame? And can it be contained so it doesn't spread or get bigger? All right, let's take a quick break. We'll wrap up the second hour. Hit me up with those texts and comments. So we've got some Brewers chat also coming up on the docket. So stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes. For over 40 years, Post Glass and Mirror has been Chippewa Falls' trusted name in glass services. Whether you are updating your bathroom with a custom shower enclosure, replacing a windshield, or enhancing your business storefront, their skilled team delivers quality and precision. Family-owned company, they pride themselves on fast turnaround times and personalized service. Just call 715-723-8676 or visit postglassandmirror.com to learn more. Post Glass and Mirror, where clarity meets craftsmanship. Don't forget as well to sign up right now. We got less than a couple weeks away if you want to do that 7:30 a.m. tee time. But for the 5th annual Casper Classic being held at Lake Hallie Golf Course, gorgeous, beautiful Lake Hallie Golf Course this year. Just head to sportstalk1051.com and you'll see it right up on the left-hand side there. But get your two-person team in. Same price as years before, $90 for the whole team, not 90 per person, 90 for the whole team. That includes your 9 holes, your cart, your lunch, some drink tickets as well. So just less than 2 weeks if you want to do the 7:30 early bird tee time, because we're going to shut that down on May 26th, and all that'll be left is just a few spots for the 10 a.m. and the 1 p.m. tee time. So you want to make sure you reserve your spot right now by going to sportstalk1051.com. And of course, this is the outing. This is our biggest benefit for Backyard Dreams. So a big thanks to all of you who have supported Backyard Dreams over the years. If you can't golf, you're not a golfer, but you want to help out Backyard Dreams, if you're interested in sponsoring a hole, or maybe, one thing we really want to do well this year is some awesome raffle prizes, because all those proceeds too go to Backyard Dreams. So if you'd like to donate a raffle prize or be a hole sponsor, reach out to me and we'll hook you up. All right, we'll talk. So just reach out to me if you're willing to help. So let's we got C-Bomb saying feels like Rosenhaus wants to get a contract extension discussion started. Potentially, I do remember though too, there are different there's rules in terms of when players under rookie deals will be able to, at times when they can negotiate. Remember the whole Brock Purdy thing? And even Russell Wilson? There's certain timelines, there's certain time frames and when they can start those contract discussions. So Jayden Reed can't quite yet get that extension here. Breaking news. We got another Packer game that was announced. November 10th, Eagles, Packers, Monday Night Football. There you go. So Packers welcoming the defending Super Bowl champs. That was just announced a few seconds ago. We got another Packer game announced for the schedule. Monday night, November 10th. Monday night, November 10th. Eagles visiting the Packers. So put that on your calendar right now. If you've got season tickets or plenty, or you want to go to that game, November 10th. It's a Monday night. So, all right, we've got a couple games that we already know. We know December 20th, Saturday, Packers visiting Chicago, and now Eagles visiting the Packers, November 10th. Gosh, I wonder, we talked about it yesterday too. It's like, are the Packers actually going to open up at home for the first time since 2018? Think about that. Matt LaFleur has not opened up at home, had a season opener at home during his tenure as head coach. Think about that. That hasn't happened before for him. Gosh, I wonder if this is finally going to be the year. So Week 10, that is officially the Week 10 game, in case you're wondering. So we know the Week 10 game, and we know the Week 16 game for the green and gold. I think tomorrow morning what I'll try to do is I might try to mock the schedule. Might try to figure out how many we can get. Got 2 already on there, but all right. So would you take Cooper Flagg straight up for Giannis? Big Worm? No, I wouldn't. No. So, A couple more texts. That was kind of a random one there. A couple more texts going back to the Packers here. We've got not worried. This is from Jim. Not worried at all from Jane Reed. I agree with you. It sounds like more of an agent ploy thing. The Elgton Jenkins one is just kind of weird too, considering he has played center before. Doesn't make sense to me, I think is what you're trying to say there. So another text on the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. No, not worried at all about Jayden Reed, considering it's Drew Rosenhaus doing this. All these insiders get their information from agents. Elgton Jenkins one is just kind of is a little bit more concerning. Excuse me. Elgton Jenkins one is kind of is a little bit more concerning for me when you factor in everything that's been going on and what we've been hearing in the last couple of weeks. That's from Matt on our texting line. Another text coming in about Elgton Jenkins. That's a head scratcher for me, says Brian. Not quite sure what's going on with his status. Is he looking for a pay raise and another extension because he's moving positions? Maybe, but I don't know. I mean, he's still getting a nice chunk of money, and he's under contract for a couple more years, and even next year that contract goes up. Maybe he's looking for a little bit more long-term security after that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if he's gonna get it from Green Bay. He's gonna be in his early 30s and such, and I don't know. That's a tough one. That's a tough one for me. Love to hear from Elgton Jenkins. Now I know I don't know well, he's not in Green Bay. I mean, Adam Stenavich already said that he's not with the team right now. So, but I know Jordan Love has the softball tournament that's coming up on Friday. Remember, it started off as the Brett Favre one at the Timber Rattler Stadium. Then it was Donald Driver. Did Aaron do it at all for? I know Aaron played in it, but I don't think he ever hosted it. Jordy did for a little bit, but now Jordan Love hosts it. A lot of current players because they're already in town for workouts and such, but I was going to say, I'd love to hear from Elgton Jenkins, but if he's not in town, we're not going to hear from him at all. So, but that definitely is a head scratcher. So, what's grinding your gears? Don't forget, send me your Toyson Ford. What's grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Hit us up with the text and make it appropriate so I can say it in the air. We'll get to the best ones. We'll air the best ones coming up a little bit later on. We'll talk some Brewers coming up next hour. Brewers falling last night to the Guardians in game one of their 3-game series, getting shut out by the Guardians 5-0. And this was too with the Guardians starting pitcher Lively leaving the game early. And then former Brewer Jacob Junis coming in and pitching 1 inning and gets credited with the win. Allard came after that and pitched 3 innings, but Brewers wise, just 7 hits, but not able to manufacture any runs. Nothing. Peralta went 5 1/3, 4 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 Ks, 3 walks, did not give up any home runs. Hudson coming in, though, and he struggled last night with some command and control. Inning and 1 2/3 of an innings pitched, 1 hit, but 3 walks. Did strike out 4, but that pitch count up there was in the 50s. Yeah, 50 pitches for Brian Hudson. That was a career high for him last night. So hopefully it's just a little bit of a situation where he's trying to knock off some rust and that, but yeesh, not good. Quinn Priester will get the start for the Brewers tonight, hopefully getting that win. And then, of course, the setback from Brandon Woodruff. At least it's not the shoulder issue. Sounds like he's tweaked his ankle a little bit, so maybe another week, but it sounds like he's going to get another rehab start at the minor league level before coming back up to the major league level. So maybe a week, maybe even a couple weeks. So if you're going that game against the Twins this weekend, hoping to see Brandon Woodruff, that's not going to be the case anymore. So it's a bummer. It's a big-time bummer. So, but we'll talk about that and look ahead to tonight's game and matchup with the Guardians as the Brewers try to get this win. Can't continue to be dropping series. They're 4 games now back from the Cubs for first place in the division. But it's offense too. Where's the offense? Got to get some offense production for crying out loud. So But we'll talk some Brewers and that. Yeah, Eagles already got like 25% of their schedule released before tomorrow. But you're the defending champs. So you didn't get a lot of those primetime, big-time games. That's what's going to happen. And that's the case here. And you look at the Eagles' schedule so far, they got their Thursday game, the opener, Monday night against the Packers, Friday night against the Bears, and that Saturday, December 20th game going up against the Commanders. So 4 games already announced for the Eagles. I know we got some Eagles fans that listen. So you already got 4 games announced for your favorite team. So we'll get back some more comments coming up a little bit later on here. So we'll get to that. Hit us up at 715-830-1912 with a quick text on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, or you can do it on the video stream. We've got about a minute and a half left. Good morning, Morgs.
How's things?
Good. How are you?
All right. Now, are you a guy who would like to do the schedule for the Packers? Like if you were ready and offered, say, all right, Casper, put together the schedule. Is that something you would tackle?
Nope, because I used to have to do it as a sports director at Hawaii, and that was the worst job ever, is doing schedules.
Why?
Because you have to factor in that everybody's equal. You have to factor in travel and all that. It's a pain, and then people just complain and complain and complain. So no,
people are going to complain no matter what.
Yeah.
But if you were tackling the Packers schedule, what would you like? Is there a team you would always kick it off with? Like who would you always bring onto the roster first? No interest.
Nope.
Now, how much do you think the schedule plays into a season? Like the record, do you think it really matters that much, or do you think it is just?
They do strength of records, or they do the strengths, and like Green Bay finished 3rd, so they play the 3rd place teams from those divisions the year prior. That don't mean anything anymore. No,
that's just
it's completely
kind of
different. Yeah.
So, game of the season that you're looking forward to?
I mean, all the division games are going to be good. Obviously, if Aaron plays for the Steelers, it's going to be the Steelers game.
Okay. You want to see that? Do you want to see
I don't want to see it, but that'll be the game that everybody's going to.
Doesn't it feel like, and this is no surprise because even when Rodgers was with the Packers, he was kind of a drama person, and it was always like, almost like you were just waiting to cringe at the press conferences towards the end. Like, what's he going to say that's going to go askew? Mm-hmm. But it feels like he doesn't have a good handler. No. Like somebody to be like, dude, psst,
He's got a PR team, but I don't think they're doing a very good job. So,
or maybe he just doesn't listen to him,
right?
Because we've seen this unfold with other quarterbacks. Looking at you, it's like it's not going anywhere good,
right?
Theoretically. So then, are you looking to just watch the train go off the tracks, or do you think there's a possibility that it might take a different direction?
Yeah, I don't know. You'd think with all that money and resources, they'd have some better PR.
Proof positive.
Exactly.
Once a dink, always a ding.
All right. Thanks, Morgs.
Thank you, Casper.
1 and 2 more to go. We got some news updates, and we'll be back to talk some Brewers coming up after these quick words. Second hour, kick it off right now. Big thanks for tuning in wherever, however you may be tuning in from. First hour, we spent some time talking some green and gold with the Jayden Reed stuff, the Elgton Jenkins issues going on. We got another Packers game that was announced. One was announced yesterday. Got another one that was just announced this morning. If you missed it, Week 10, Monday night game, November 10th, home against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we know two of them. We know two games. If we go back to yesterday's announcement, Saturday, December 20th, going to Chicago to face the Bears, and now November 10th, Week 10, home, Monday night against the Eagles. So got two of them. We'll know the full schedule tomorrow once it gets officially released. Don't think they'll have my favorite part of the season, though, announced tomorrow, and that's preseason games. It's tongue-in-cheek, okay? It's sarcasm, people. So, we'll keep it posted. Maybe we'll get back some more green and gold chats a little bit later on here. We've got a little crystal ball that we're going to play coming up just past 8 o'clock. It is also a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears, you beautiful people? Let me know, all right, with a quick text or comment on the video streams over there. What's grinding your gears? Make it appropriate so that I can say it on the air. We'll hit that up. But let's talk some baseball here as the Brewers yesterday falling to the Guardians, game one of a 3-game series, 5-0. Brewers, no offensive production again. On a scale of 1 to 10 right now, how frustrated are you with the Brewers offense from what you've seen? Not necessarily concerned or worried, but how frustrated are you? It's got to be pretty high, I would imagine. Freddie Peralta gets charged with the loss. He drops to 4-3 on the season, 2.66 ERA. But did hit a milestone yesterday, becoming the fastest Brewers pitcher to reach 1,000 career Ks, just the fourth pitcher of all time. And he does it, hits 1,000 career Ks when it was today, May 13th, by the way, Mother's Day, May 13th, 2018, when he made his Major League debut. So Major League debut as a 21-year-old 7 years ago, where he just lit the world on fire, had that no-no going in the sixth, struck out 13. And now, 7 years later, almost to the day, hits 1,000 career strikeouts and becoming the fourth Brewers pitcher to do that. So, will he get 2,000? Who knows? But he joins Teddy Higuera, Ben Sheets, and Giovanni Gallardo, all topped 1,000 strikeouts for the Brewers. None got to that number faster than Peralta, who did it in 187 games and 804 2/3 of an innings. So Peralta afterwards, after the game, says it means a lot. I've been waiting for this moment, hopefully now to keep going and get to 2,000. So that was pretty much the only positive from yesterday was that milestone, because you had a loss and then Freddie got the loss. But then even before the game, it was announced that Brandon Woodruff suffered a little bit of a setback. Now, the positive on that aspect is it has nothing to do with his shoulder. It's an ankle injury, tweaked his ankle, but it pushes back his debut. It's not going to be this weekend. Maybe a week, but maybe even a couple weeks here. He's going to get another rehab start. So he's got some right ankle tendonitis. Pat Murphy yesterday say he tried to go pitch on it, and it didn't go the way he wanted it to. So he said, I'm not ready. Now, apparently this was a known issue going into his AAA start on Sunday. Apparently Woodruff had complained of ankle discomfort before that start, which was to be his final rehab outing before joining the Brewers' rotation against the Twins this weekend. But apparently he tried to go at it and just couldn't work out. And you kind of looked at his fastball in that last start, and you can notice it was a little bit down. His four-seamer topped out at 93.2 miles per hour and averaged 90.7 miles per hour. So we'll see kind of what the plan is going to be here now. So Murphy said that the rule for the current scenario is that Woodruff cannot pitch for an affiliate again for at least 7 days. So whenever he's ready to go again, the expectation is that he will test the ankle in the minors and not jump straight to the majors. So it's probably going to be longer than a week. It's probably going to be a couple weeks. I mean, maybe Memorial. What are we looking at here on the docket here? So if it's not going to be this week, maybe Memorial Day weekend, maybe the end of May, or maybe now even at the beginning of June. Murphy also saying it's a legit ankle injury. This is a legit ankle injury, guys, just so you know. You can ready between the lines or make up what you want to make up. But the truth is, it was there before he pitched. He tried to pitch on it, and it didn't go well in terms of how he felt. Our pitching guys and him, they all got together with the front office, and Woody made the decision, I'm not going to come back yet. So I know there was some chitter chatter there, especially on the social medias, was that, oh, how legit of an ankle injury is this? Is this just a way to keep him in the minors to keep rehabbing in that? Well, Pat Murphy already calling it out there. So, and I got to imagine, Woodruff is just, biting at the, just chomping at the bit to get out there and to pitch at that major league level. It sucks. It stinks. It really does. I mean, we're all waiting for it. Brewers are waiting for it, but there is nobody who is more anxious to get back out on that field and to pitch at a major league level than Brandon Woodruff. There's nobody, and it stinks for him that he was so close to making his return, and then the ankle injury pops up. Yeah, God, it stinks for him. And there's nobody, I guarantee you, nobody more disappointed than Brandon Woodruff. You're disappointed as a fan. I'm disappointed as a fan. It stinks, but there's nobody that is more upset than Woodruff. But it's smart not to push it with this ankle injury, because that is the worst thing you want to happen, is throw him out there and he's dealing with a little bit of an ankle issue, and then it develops into something bigger. So maybe Woodruff then won't be starting at home at any time soon. Maybe if it is at a couple weeks now with this ankle injury, that it's going to be Pittsburgh on Memorial Day weekend in Pittsburgh. Maybe he starts at home after that against the Boston series if he still wants to make his debut at home. Or maybe you're looking at June. They've got that long stretch of home games at the beginning of June here. But nonetheless, the issue is Brandon Woodruff did suffer a little bit of setback, but it's not the shoulder injury. He'll get back, hopefully, in a couple weeks here. Just get that ankle right. Get that ankle injury right so that when he is up with the major league club, that he's ready to go close at 100% or pretty darn close to 100%. Game-wise for tonight, Game 2, Quinn Priester is going to be on the mound for the Brewers, looking for their first win of this series, going up against their former player, Stephen Vogt, who's also who is the manager of the Cleveland Guardians. But looking to bounce back after getting shut out last night. Quinn Priester going up against Allen, a left-handed pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians, Logan Allen. When we take a look at these two pitching matchups and their lineups here, just to give you a little bit of a scouting report, you do have some Guardians players who've gotten a game worth of experience going up against Quinn Priester, but nothing really to write home about. Santana's got a home run against him, and 3 at-bats. He's 2 for 3 against him. Quan is 0 for 4, looks like, against him. So, or 0 for 2, against him. So, on the flip side, there's no Brewer hitter with any experience going up against Logan Allen. Allen's coming off of a couple of no decisions recently against the Washington Nationals back on the 7th, where he went 4 innings, gave up 7 hits, 3 earned runs. Toronto on the 2nd, 5 2/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs. And then back on the 27th against Boston, he suffered a loss where he went 4 1/3 and gave up 7 earned runs. On the season overall, he is 1-2, starting 7 games with a 4.33 ERA. So another left-handed pitcher going up against this Brewers offense that right now, how frustrated are you with this Brewers offense? It's okay to say you're pretty frustrated with this Brewers offense. It's perfectly fine to say that because I'm frustrated with this Brewers offense. You look at it and it's like, gosh, where can we get some consistency within this thing? Especially from your big name players, right? Especially from your Yelich's and such, and the Contreras. You wonder how much that finger injury, that fractured finger, is affecting his approach at the plate. We talked about Rhys Hoskins yesterday. I think he's quietly having a very solid season. A lot of fans maybe don't expect or aren't expecting it or don't know about it, but he is quietly putting together a very solid season. But it needs to be more than just Rhys Hoskins. It's got to be your other guys. It's got to be the Contrerases. It's got to be the Yelich's up there. Hoskins picking up another hit yesterday. Bowers collected a couple hits yesterday too. And your top three hitters, Frelick, Chirio, Yelich, all collecting hits, but not manufacturing runs either. Got to get better on the offensive side and helping support this pitching staff. All right. Scale of 1 to 10. How frustrated are you? Scott says 7.5 right now. You higher or lower than Scott at 7.5? Let me know. Quick break. We'll be back with more. Talk some hoops as well. Coming up after these few words. When it comes to firearms, ammos, and expert service, there's one name you could trust, and that's Tilden Gun. Whether you are a seasoned hunter, a weekend shooter, or just getting started, Tilden Gun has exactly what you need, from top brands and rifles, shotguns, handguns, to a full line of ammunition and accessories. They have got you covered. Looking to buy, sell, or trade, Tilden Gun makes it easy with fair pricing and honest advice. And if you are in the market for your first firearm, or you just need some guidance, their knowledgeable staff is always ready to help you out. Located just outside of Chippewa Falls, it's worth a short drive to get real service from real people. Tilden Gun, where quality, trust, and experience come standard. Stop on in today and see the difference at 12427 90th Avenue, Chippewa Falls. That's 12427 90th Avenue in Chippewa Falls. I think I'm going to stop there this week. Got to do a little shopping myself. So got to go visit the good peeps over there, Sean and Hunter at Tilden Gun. Evil Surveyor says, if someone were to win the Casper Classic 2 years in a row, are they inducted to the Sports Talk 105.1 Hall of Fame? No. There's a judge, jury, and executioner, and that's me. And no. First of all, we don't have to worry about that because that ain't happening. But no. Standards are high for this Hall of Fame. So, no, not happening. Not happening. So, quick, obviously we talked a little bit about it yesterday with the Giannis thing from Shams, and, that the report that Giannis is open to potentially playing elsewhere next year or for the foreseeable future. So, I love, we're going to have like the daily meter now, like this thermometer, this gauge, or whatever you want to call it. But, it's going to be like, where are you at? How you feeling? Do you like his chances? Do you think he's going to go? I feel like it's going to change almost daily, weekly for Bucks fans, or a lot of people out there. And everybody's got a take, got an opinion on it and such. But Lou Williams, so former player Lou Williams. Now, remember, we mentioned it was the Run It Back show yesterday that, we talked about yesterday, but was it last Friday that Bobby Portis was on? And that's where it kind of started, this little fun back and forth between Giannis and Bobby Portis on social media and such. So Lou Williams was Run It Back. And he feels like Giannis is going to stay with the Bucks because of this reason. This was his, quote, expert opinion. If I have no intention on staying with a young lady, I'm not going to be in her comments teasing her. Talking about Giannis, commenting on, Bobby Portis's comments about Giannis wanting to bleed green and stay in Milwaukee and such. Like Bobby feels like Giannis wants to be like the Tim Duncan, the Steph Currys, the Kobe Bryants that stay with one team throughout his career and such. And then, Giannis commenting on there saying, don't worry about me, but what are you going to be doing, Bobby, and such. So Lou Williams is essentially saying if he wasn't going to stay, he wouldn't be making comments like that. So he's staying in Milwaukee in that. I love the thought. I love the theory in that. It's not, foolproof or anything like that. But, this is going to be a temperature gauge that's probably going to be adjusted every couple days and such, because guarantee you there's going to be more takes. There's going to be more opinions. There's going to be more, quote, rumors. There's going to be more thoughts out there. And Brian Windhorst, I thought, you made a good point yesterday on ESPN too. The Bucks, remember, with the whole trade thing too, they don't control their own picks for the next few years for the first round picks. So they're going to need like a lot of first round picks that are going to be high picks that, necessarily that wouldn't be their picks. So they're going to need some teams who have some high picks that they're guaranteed to kind of get higher up in the draft. But they're also going to need players that are going to contribute now. And a lot of these quote unquote older super teams aren't necessarily going to give up some of their main players to get Giannis, because if you're going to acquire Giannis, you want to make sure you have a good core around him. So it kind of eliminates a lot of teams out there, and the two teams that Windhorst threw out there as maybe in the driver's seat or the best, or the two teams that would have the best to offer the Bucks is San Antonio and Houston, two Texas teams. So I guess my Giannis-o-meter at this point on May 13th, if we kind of made this into a thing, my Giannis meter, if we go from 0 to 10, 10 saying, it's a guarantee, it's a lock that he's gone, and 0 is like, nope, it's a lock that he's staying. I'm probably at like, the first number that jumped to my mind was like a 4.3. I feel like I'm at a 4.3 in terms of Giannis staying for this upcoming season. We're just looking at the upcoming season. We're not talking about the next 5 years, the next 7 years, or whatever. I'm looking at it for this upcoming season. I'm at about a 4.3. But again, the wild card and the wrench in this whole thing is Dame and his Achilles situation. It's that to me is the biggest wrench thrown into this thing, because he's not going to be ready to begin the upcoming season. So what can the Bucks do? Because if you've got Giannis for this upcoming year, you have got to hit home runs in this offseason, and you have got to make sure you've got plenty of talent surrounding Giannis. So what can they do while they wait for Dame to come back from this injury? What can they do in the offseason to get that talent to surround him? Now, they'll have a little bit more flexibility than they have in the years past, because of, Brook Lopez is coming off the books. Maybe they move on from Kyle Kuzma. Maybe they could get something in return from him. But John Horst is going to be around. We know that already. I think you need to totally revamp this roster. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing back Gary Trent Jr., but with some of your players who are maybe free agents or scheduled to be free agents, or guys that maybe you would try to trade, I wouldn't be opposed if they just kind of like, okay, we're going to try to trade Kuzma, we're going to try to trade, Pat Connaughton or whatever, and not bring back Lopez. I wouldn't be opposed to that, because I think you need kind of almost a complete roster overhaul to pair up with Giannis and such. The question is like, who can you get, though? It's not that simple. It's not like playing fantasy basketball or playing a video game and just, trading all these players and getting who you want to pair up with it. It's a lot more difficult than that. So, I mean, their hands are still kind of fairly tied in that, but I don't know. It's going to be tough. But I'm probably at a 4.3. I still feel like Giannis is going to be back this year or this upcoming season for the Bucks, the 2025-26 season. That's where my gauge is at. That's where my Giannis meter is at right now. Where are you at? I'm at a 4.3 that he's back. Like 4.3, so that would shade in towards like he's going to be back with the Bucks. 10 being he's gone. He got it here. He's long gone. Speaking of hoops, did you guys see this yesterday? Michael Jordan is going to be on NBA on NBC as a special contributor. That's like his title. I don't know if that just kind of necessarily means he's not going to be on there all the time, but once in a while. But the great one, the GOAT, MJ, is going to be on NBA on NBC. So play-by-play, you got a couple guys, big names, Mike Tirico, Noah Eagle. Studio analyst, Carmelo Anthony. Game analyst, these guys that are going to be on the court. The court, on-court announcers or whatever, in-game announcers, excuse me. Jamal Crawford, Reggie Miller, and then Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Looks like Brian Anderson, he had posted the other day, I don't know how old this was, but I just saw it yesterday. BA, Brewers guy, he's done calling basketball. His days of calling the NBA games are over with. And that, I mean, TNT, TBS isn't going to be carrying NBA games anymore. So, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But, I mean, gosh, if I was NBA on NBC, I'd kind of take a look at BA as an option over there. But Michael Jordan that's going to be, I don't know. I'm curious to see how that thing works out. I'm cautiously optimistic. It's kind of similar to Wayne Gretzky doing some of that with hockey. Remember, was it a couple years ago already when he first signed up, and he's been doing that. So I think it's similar to that. But hey, I'm curious to see what Jordan has to say and how good he's going to be at this. Why not? I think that's a huge get for NBA on NBC, just in name recognition alone, to get Michael Jeffrey Jordan as a contributor for your NBA on NBC coverage. Jordan saying, "I'm so excited. I am so excited to see NBA back on NBC. The NBA on NBC was a meaningful part of my career, and I'm excited about being a special contributor to the project. I'm looking forward to seeing you all when the NBA on NBC launches in October." Yeah, I'm all for it. Why not? Why not? So, a couple more texts here saying my Giannis meter is at a 3. I feel like he's back for sure next year. Then after that, it's up in the air. That is from Ben. Tim says at a 5. Rick says 2. Steve says 7. So they're kind of all over the place right now. I'm at a 4.3 for this year. We're just looking at this year for this, or I should say this year because the playoffs are still going on. The upcoming season, the 2025-26 season. Guess that could have been part of our crystal ball game that we're going to be playing here. That's a fail on me. So, but, Boomer Tony, morning DK. Let me tell you what's grinding my gears this week. It's that construction zone on 53 between 29 and Tilden. I mean, come on. We've had more progress at a preseason football game than I've seen on that stretch the last couple weeks. It's like they called the timeout and forgot to come back on the field. I know what you're talking about. I kind of forgot about that too. When I got to go over to Tilden Gun, man, I have to go a little bit of a different way. But yeah, I forgot about that. That's still going on, huh? What else is grinding your gears, peeps? Hit me up with a text on the Toyson Ford at Grind My Gears Tuesday. I know you got something. I know something bugging you. I know something's grinding your gears. So send those on over. We need a good surveyor Sam grind my gears. He's been a little quiet in the last couple of days. So a couple more texts. Going back to our Packers conversation in the first hour, Jake says, not concerned with the Jayden Reed stuff at all. It just speaks of agent trying to get the upper hand. The Elgton Jenkins stuff is just weird with the well, I'm going to say establishment issue. Look it up on TMZ. And him not being with the team right now, and Steno's comments were pretty concerning yesterday. Another texter with the Jayden Reed thing. Jayden Reed has absolutely nothing to worry about. I think this is all just agent speak. That's where I'm at too. It was so random yesterday for Schefter to tweet that or post wherever social media post it that Goody met with Drew Rosenhaus last week to essentially say, Jayden Reed is still the number one wideout, number one option with the Packers, and still, even regardless of drafting those two receivers. It was just so random, and it was so weird, like, of all the receivers. Like, if substitute Jayden Reed and put in Romeo Doubs, then I think people are like, oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense. But Jayden Reed, it just, I'm at first blush, it was like, is Jayden really complaining? And I was like that right away. I'm like, why is he throwing a stinker about this? But taking a step back and kind of thinking about it a little bit, I'm like, nah, this is an agent. This is an agent play. This is an agent power play. That's what it is for me. So, speaking of hoops, really quick, we had some NBA playoffs continuing last night. The Knicks, with another win, they now are one win away from advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. And Jason Tatum carried off the court, and MRI is coming up next. Dr. Crow chimed in on it a little bit earlier and says, my guess is Tatum tore his Achilles based on the video, but generally it isn't that painful, so it could be a Liz Frank injury too. Doesn't it feel like it's just been a boatload of Achilles injuries in the last couple of years? They feel like maybe it's more so the fact that it's just been happening to major star players and more often in the last couple of years. But man, it feels like we've got an epidemic of Achilles injuries going on. So the Knicks are 1 win away from advancing. The Timberwolves are also 1 win away from advancing to the Western Conference Finals. They picked up a win, 117-110 against Golden State last night. So Timberwolves fans, you're 1 win away from going to the Western Conference Finals. Got some big games coming up tonight, though. Indiana at Cleveland. Indiana wins. They got their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals. Boy, can you imagine if it's Indiana and in New York? You want to talk about NBA and NBC, and you want to talk about some '90s hoops. There's a classic '90s Eastern Conference matchup. Oh, I mean, come on, we need Reggie Miller and Spike Lee to rekindle their feud for that one. Oh, come on, we need that to happen. But yeah, that would give you some flashbacks there. So if Indiana wins, they're moving on. Denver, Oklahoma City, we've got a pivotal, crucial game 5 tonight. That series is tied at 2 apiece. So, all right, let's take a quick break and we'll play a little crystal ball. To wrap up the second hour. All right. Stick around. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Looking for great food, cold drinks, and a welcoming atmosphere? Then head on over to the VFW Post 305, located on 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. They offer menu items that range from breakfast to their famous fish fry and a full bar with a friendly staff. Plus, you can enjoy some weekly events. They always got bands playing on, some fun events going on all the time at VFW Post 305. Donna does a fantastic job with some creative events over there. And you know, it is the absolute perfect time of the year to grab yourself a beverage and get out on that back deck and take a look at the river, Dells Pond over there. Man, just sit back and enjoy the view, baby. So what are you waiting for? I'll see you all at VFW Post 305. Doesn't that sound good right now? Warm weather, grab a cold beverage, post up at VFW and just take a look at the water. Man, that's heaven. We're going to talk some Badgers coming up next hour with RJ. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a heads up. All right. Because I don't want any angry messages or anything like that. So RJ is going to join us next hour. We're going to try it on the phone. I know we've been having some issues with some phones. But we're going to try it on the phone so that the experts can listen to what you're listening to. So if you're listening on the radio dials, from everybody says it's fine on the radio dials. The issue has been streaming. So if you're on the app or online, just a heads up, I am aware if it's not sounding right, but we need our experts to listen to it so they can figure out where the exact problem is coming from. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a heads up. I don't need no angry, tweets, messages on Facebook or anything like that. Okay. Just giving you a heads up. So let's play a little crystal ball before we wrap up the second hour here. So, going to our producer here, also known as AI. By the way, we still need a name for our AI producer. If anybody's got any good suggestions, good names, let me know. If you give me a good name, I'll send you a T-shirt. All right. If you give me a good name, one that I like, that's pretty creative, one that we can use that's appropriate on the air too. Okay. I'll send you a T-shirt. So hit me up with a text with some good name suggestions for our AI producer here. So typed in AI person. What are some good questions for a little crystal ball? Because again, it's kind of weird when I come up with them and then I get to answer my own questions. Once in a while, I like answering other questions. I like answering other questions here. So let's do. So we got quite a few. I mean, this AI person came up with a bunch of them here. So I like it. I like it. Which Packers draft pick? Start off with this one. Which Packers draft pick from 2024? So not this year's crop, but last year's crop. Which Packers draft pick from 2024 will make the biggest impact this year? Starting off with a hot one right away. So just a reminder, these were your picks from last year. Jordan Morgan, Edrin Cooper, Javon Bullard, Marshawn Lloyd, Hopper, Evan Williams, Jacob Monk, Oladapo, Glover, Michael Pratt, Kalen King. Some we know are no longer on the team. Michael Pratt. The easy answer here is the biggest impact's Edrin Cooper. Okay. I mean, crystal ball, magic 8-ball, all that. It's Edrin Cooper. Maybe the one under the radar one, if I were to tinker it a little bit, picking an under the radar or maybe the most surprising one, I might go. It's either Morgan or Marshawn Lloyd. And I know it's kind of weird to say that with a first round pick and Morgan, but I think it's still kind of like, okay, is he a left tackle? Is he guard? What's he going to be here? Like Evan Williams is going to be a starter. We saw what Evan Williams was able to do last year. So I've got high expectations for him. But I'm really curious to see Marshawn Lloyd utilized within this offense. And, the big question, though, is going to be the amount of playing time he's going to get behind Josh Jacobs. So, but the rookie that will, or the second-year guy, I guess we could say, of the second-year players, who's going to have the biggest impact? You listened to Jeff Hafley yesterday, too, and he talks about how he's gotten bigger in the offseason. I think it's Edrin Cooper. That bar is going to be high for him, whether it's right or wrong for this upcoming season. We are going to have a high bar for Edrin Cooper because of what we saw last year. Could he hit the sophomore slump? We've seen that a lot from players. Hopefully not. But Yeah, it's definitely Edgerrin Cooper. But I think I was gonna say excited, but I'm definitely intrigued with Morgan and Lloyd. Morgan, just because where does he fit on the offensive line? Could he actually be the left tackle, or is he going to be a guard? And Lloyd, because well, one, how much playing time is he actually to get? But we barely got to see him last year. They like him a lot. Jacobs has been mentoring him. How much of a factor can he be with this offense this year? So those are my two intriguing ones. I appreciate the optimism from our AI producer here, but will the Badger football team make the expanded college football playoff in the next 3 years? No. All signs point to no. No, sir. Badger basketball, will the Badgers reach the Sweet 16 within the next 2 seasons? Boy, crystal ball, mirror on the wall. Sure, why not? I really like what Greg Gard's doing by going in the international player pool, recruiting over there, bringing some international players to Wisconsin, and looking for different ways to kind of combat the NIL transfer portal era that is college sports now. Because we know Badger basketball will never be able to compete money-wise with paying players like some programs. So I give a big-time tip of the cap and kudos to Greg Gard for not just being, well, this is the way it is, and we can't compete with that. So, whatever happens, happens, kind of, just standing put. No. Okay. How do we overcome that? What can we do to still be competitive? What can we do that kind of, going in a different route, not just being complacent? So I give Greg Gard a lot of credit for that. So I'll say yes in the next 2 years. Why not? Brewers wise, will the Brewers finally, I like how they say finally, will the Brewers finally make a World Series appearance in the next 5 years? No. Hate to be a Debbie Downer, but no. I do not. I do not think the Brewers will make the World Series appearance in the next 5 years. So, no, I'm not doing that one. Will Craig Counsell ever come back to manage the Crew? No. Which Wisconsin team will win the next major championship? I think we did that one. To me, it's the Packers. It's the Packers. Will Wisconsin ever get a pro soccer or NHL team? I think NHL would. Hockey just seems like. Soccer's on the run. No, I'll say no. No. What's more likely, a Packers-Bears playoff game or a Brewers-Cubs NLCS? Ooh. I'll go Packers-Bears if we're talking about immediate future. Packers-Bears playoff. Yeah. That's yeah. I thought there was another. Ooh, yeah. Here's a couple of football ones here. Will any running back rush for over 1,500 yards this upcoming season? Yes, I think so. I know last year we had the kind of the comebacks of the veteran running backs in the NFL. I think 1,500. Yes, we'll have somebody at this year. Who that will be? The easy answer is like everybody's going to point to Saquon being the guy again. Saquon rushed over 2,000. Derrick Henry over 1,900. So, there was only 2 running backs that had 1,500 or more rushing yards last year, that being Saquon and Derrick Henry. Bijan Robinson had 1,456. Jonathan Taylor had 1,431, and he played in just 14 games. Jahmyr Gibbs, 1,412, and then Josh Jacobs, 1,329. Yeah, I think one will get at least 1,500. I think so. I'll buy that. Which rookie quarterback will have the best stats by the end of week 8? I guess I'll play the odds on that one and probably go Cam Ward. I don't think Jackson Dart is going to start the season right away. I know now with the Saints, with Derek Carr getting retired, that kind of opens up the door there. But I'll play the odds and just go with Cam Ward. By the way, the whole Rodgers thing about, now the Saints have a quarterback that's, retiring. Do they have an opening there? Could that intrigue Aaron to go there? If Aaron goes to the Saints, he's playing for the wrong reasons. The Saints are not a team that is competing for a championship. If I'm the Saints, I take my lumps this year. You have been in such salary cap, HE double hockey sticks for how many years? Take this year as a reset. Okay, I know you got a new head coach, offensive-minded head coach. You're excited. You still got Alvin Kamara and such. Take this year, take your lumps, take those salary cap hits. Don't do any more stupid contracts this year. And just bite it. Gonna have to at some point. At some point, it's going to come up to you. It's going to catch up to you. Well, your quarterback retired. Take it this year. Take your lumps this year. And I'm not saying tank for next year because it's not a foregone conclusion that he's going to be in a draft. But can you imagine the storylines of, let's just say, Arch Manning enters the draft next year. That's not a foregone conclusion. Okay, that's not a foregone conclusion. Remember, Manning's, Peyton, Eli, I mean, they had long college careers. And for Arch's credit, I know it's different. Those are his uncles, but for his credit too, he seemed to be a patient fellow waiting a couple years at Texas for his turn. But I mean, can you imagine if the Saints have the number 1 pick in the 2026 draft and Arch Manning declares and his dad, Archie Manning, or his grandpa, Archie Manning, playing for the Saints? I mean, Hollywood can't even write it better than that. Or the flip side. Who hosts the draft in 2026? It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. What if somehow the Steelers get the first pick and Arch Manning is declared for the draft? Steelers eventually are going to need a quarterback. I mean, you got a couple of like movie-made Hollywood type of storylines potentially next year. But if I'm a Saints fan, I really, really, hope my team does not try to make a push for Aaron. Now, I don't think they will, but there's some people like out there, at least on social media, saying, hey, maybe this is another option for Aaron. Don't. Take your lumps this year. It's going to suck, okay? As a Saints fan, your season's going to stink this year. There's not going to be a whole lot to cheer for. I know it's the NFC South, and historically, that division has always kind of had some surprise teams in that. Just take your hits this year and get into as healthy of a cap situation as you possibly can. It'll be a long season, but you'll be better in the long run for it. Take the hits this year. And then plan for 2026 in the future. All right. I only got a minute left. So we'll do some Grind My Gears Tuesday. Coming up here. Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So last call for any of those. You can text me at 715-830-1912. And we'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up at about 8:20 this morning. So we'll hit that up in our final hour. And then we'll probably get back to some more baseball, maybe throw a little bit more football talk in here too. Brewers, by the way, first pitch for tonight's game against the Guardians. It's going to be the same as yesterday, a little bit of an earlier game. I like these like 5 o'clock, a little after 5 o'clock games. I like that. But tonight's game, first pitch scheduled for 5:10. Coverage will begin 35 minutes prior. Then tomorrow, the getaway day. Very early, 12:10. You got a little noonish lunch hour baseball coming at you. You can listen to that on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Oh, we got the international games. They were announced. We'll tell you those coming up just past the top of the hour. No Packers ones. However, if you're a Vikings fan, you got a couple of them. So, all right. 2 in. We got one more to go. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. Final hour on this Tuesday morning of May 13th coming right at you. Big thanks for tuning in and making us a part of your start here. Coming up in about 10, 15 minutes or so, we'll catch up with Mr. RJ Cardinal. Talk some Badgers with him. Speaking of college, in case you didn't hear, the Blue Gold softball team earning a at-large bid for the NCAA tournament. So they're going to be in action on Thursday. They're going to be in the great state of Indiana, where they will be taking on Baldwin Wallace in the opening round on Thursday. First pitch at 12:30. So congrats to the Blue Golds. We're going to be recording our final episode for season 2 of the Rollin' with the Golds podcast later on today. So look for that when it drops on Thursday. We spent a big chunk in the first hour talking some green and gold. Lots of nuggets out there. The whole Jayden Reed. I should even say Jayden Reed, because I don't even think it was Jayden Reed. The whole Adam Schefter post about Jayden Reed and his agent Drew Rosenhaus and meeting with Goody to really kind of go over Reed's status with the team. Just kind of a weird thing. Elgton Jenkins, what's going on with that guy right now? We know a couple games for the Packers. Earlier this morning, it was announced Week 10, Monday night at Lambeau, November 10th, taking on the Eagles. Yesterday, it was announced Week 16, December 20th. It's a Saturday, where they will travel to Chicago to take on the Bears. The international games were just recently announced. Packers do not have an international game. We've got the Sao Paulo game. The Chargers going to be the home team. Now, we don't know their opponent. That team will be announced tomorrow. But if you're a Vikings fan, you got 2 early international games. Sunday, September 28th, taking on Steelers in Dublin. And then the week after, taking on the Browns in London. Then it's October 12th, the Broncos taking on the Jets. October 19th, the Rams taking on the Jaguars. Those games are in London. And then November 9th, we have the Falcons taking on the Colts in Berlin. And the Commanders taking on the Dolphins in Madrid on November 16th. So I still feel like it would have been Packers, Steelers for that September 28th Dublin game. I still believe that, and I still believe the reason it might have been changed was because of the whole Rodgers effect, that he potentially could be with the Steelers. I firmly believe that. Firmly believe that. It looked like, for the longest time, it looked like it was going to be Packers going to Dublin. But I think Rodgers going to Pittsburgh potentially changed that. So, we also spent some time talking some Brewers, as the Brewers lost last night 5-0, being shut out by the Guardians. Freddie Peralta becoming the fastest Brewers pitcher in history to reach 1,000 career strikeouts. And today was actually his anniversary of his Major League debut. It was this day in 2018 on Mother's Day, when he struck out 13 and had a no-no going in the 6th in Colorado against the Rockies. So almost 7 years to the day, he hits 1,000 career strikeouts, becoming the fastest Brewers pitcher to do that. Before the game, though, however, some disappointing news that Brandon Woodruff suffering a minor setback. The positive part of it has nothing to do with his shoulder. It's a tweaked ankle, so nothing, elbow, shoulder, arm-wise, just a tweaked ankle. But you're probably talking about at least a couple weeks before we see Brandon Woodruff with the Brewers. So that's his debut, which looked like it was going to be this weekend going up against the Twins. It's going to be pushed back now, which is unfortunate. So, all right, let's do some Grind My Gears Tuesday. Grind My Gears brought to you by Toyson Ford. You know what's grinding my gears? Something a little bit outside the sports world, though. My turkey hunting season. Man, my turkey hunting season has stunk. I've got another chance. Hopefully it can change. But now I saw that there was a report that some of the numbers are a little bit down this year, but still, some of you sending me pictures like Doug, awesome picture. with the turkey hunt. I will post that up on the website. Again, email me those picks because it's easier to get them off there and add them to the website. So I'll get to that. Doug, thanks for sending that yesterday. But gosh darn it, my turkey hunting season has been just awful. And it's annoying me because I had a goal this year. I wanted to get one so bad this year. It's been a few years since I got one, and I wanted to get one, and it's just didn't get the zone I wanted, or I didn't get I shouldn't say zone. I didn't get the time frame I wanted, the season I wanted. That's my fault. I was late on the preference points and such, but gosh darn it. It's been a frustrating, absolutely frustrating turkey hunting season for me. So that's partially grinding my gears. What also is grinding my gears is we're going to be going through a very long easy. That song is gonna be constantly played in my head every flipping time I think about Giannis. It is just gonna happen. It is what it is. I'm embracing it reluctantly, but it's still annoying, and it's grinding my gears that this is gonna be a season, a long, long, long off season about where Giannis is gonna go, and even, like, I still feel like my Giannis-ometer is at a 4.3 that he will be with the Bucks this year, but it's going to constantly be talked about and constantly analyzed. Every little thing that he does on social media. Well, has he stopped following so and so? Did he start following so and so? What does that like mean? What does that comment mean? Or lack thereof comments. What does that mean? It's going to just be painful. It's going to be painful. And I just hope it's a quick resolution either way. So we don't drag this thing out. Again, I feel like he's going to be with the Bucks this year. That's what my gut is telling me. It could change tomorrow. It could change on what other rumor report we hear. It's going to adjust. It's like kind of like the stock report. It's like the thermometer. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go this way. It's going to go that way. But it's going to be a very frustrating, annoying at times, long off season with the honest talk. I hope I'm wrong. I hope we get statements from him and the Bucks saying, "Yeah, ain't happening, not happening." But I doubt it. What is grinding my gears though when it comes to the Bucks is them, as of right now, standing pat with their head coach Doc Rivers. I mean, I get it. They still got some time. They still got a little bit of time here to make a move. And it's not like the NFL where it's a race to hire your favorite coach or the hot prodigy coordinator. I understand it's different than that, but the longer this goes, the more it feels like Doc Rivers is going to be the head coach for the Milwaukee Bucks next year. And I don't like that. And I don't think a lot of Bucks fans are in favor of that. Now, maybe it's something as simple as, okay, he's going to be transitioning into a different role and they're just going to promote Darvin Ham. Okay. But right now, on May 13th, when it's been a cone of silence and nothing has been said and nothing has been reported or anything like that, it feels like they're going to run it back with Doc at the helm. And that grinds my gears. I think they need a new voice. I think they need a new leadership within that locker room. Whether it's a guy like Taylor Jenkins or promoting Darvin Ham, I'd rather have Darvin Ham right now. I think Darvin Ham could provide a little bit different of an energy, a higher energy, well-loved, well-respected with this Bucks team. I honestly feel like Darvin Ham, if he had not taken or gotten hired by the Lakers, he would have been the guy to replace Mike Budenholzer. So I would not be opposed if Darvin Ham is the head coach. I wouldn't be opposed if it's Jenkins, the former Memphis Grizzlies head coach, who spent a year with the Bucks too, and apparently him and Giannis have a great relationship. You got Malone, who's available, who led the Nuggets, to a championship too. There's some guys out there. I just don't want the Bucks to be twiddling their thumbs, and we're at the point where like, oh, we got nobody left. I guess we got to stay with Doc as the head coach. I don't want that. Make a move. Make a decision. It's not like money's a problem. You got Budenholzer off the books now from paying him. So, I mean, you can use kind of your fired coaches fund and pay a little bit left and maybe bring in somebody else. They need a different voice. They need a different leader within that locker room. All right, that's what's grinding my gears. So, what's grinding your gears? You can hit me up. Send me a text and such. We're going to take a quick break. Again, another reminder, okay, in case you're just joining us. RJ's going to join us by phone. I know we've been having some issues with the phone for listeners on the stream or on the app. On the air, on the FM and the AM, hasn't been an issue. But we're going to try it on the phone. That way our experts, our engineers, can hear what's going on and try to figure out and diagnose the problem if it happens to be an issue again. So if you're listening on the stream and you're listening on the app, go to the YouTube or Facebook video stream to listen if we have an issue. Maybe it's going to work today. Maybe the kinks got worked out, but they got to hear it just so we can diagnose the actual issue. So if it sounds robotic, staticky, can't hear them or anything like that, I know. But you can let me know nicely. You can let me know if you want. I'll be able to know either way. But just giving you a heads up right now. Okay, I don't need angry grind my gears text about that. Just giving you a heads up. Okay. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll talk some Badgers with Mr. RJ Cardinal. There's an interesting article on ESPN about ranking the off seasons and where the Badgers ranked. We're going to hit that up.
The Dan Kasper Show will be right back.
Buying a home can be complex and time sensitive. In fact, most people only do it 3 times. Michael O'Connell here from Franzen Bank and Trust in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. I help homebuyers every day and pride myself on building personal relationships and providing timely and accurate service throughout the loan process. Visit or contact our Eau Claire office today and let me use my expertise to help you. Franzen Bank and Trust, real people, real results. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. NMLS number 2607586.
We all live on the same planet, but on different continents, countries, states, counties, cities, villages, and then our backyards. We take the world and we shrink it down at the 715newsroom.com to what matters here in your world. Local headlines, community connections, and things you care about. And we like to show you different sides so you can decide. Listen, with the to-do list and just lifing all the time, it can be hard. We get it. Getting headlines and news, that should be easy. We share the same planet. Get news for your world at 715newsroom.com.
Ready to upgrade your home? Start from the ground up with Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether it's carpet, vinyl, tile, or laminate, Carpet City Flooring Center has the perfect flooring to match your style and your budget. With one of the largest selections in the area and a knowledgeable team that's there to help, you'll find exactly what you need, whether you're updating one room or doing a whole home makeover. From selection to installation, Carpet City Flooring Center makes it easy. Their professional installers get the job done right and on time. And if you're not sure where to start, their in-store experts will guide you through every step. Locally owned and proud to serve the Eau Claire area, Carpet City Flooring Center is your trusted flooring partner. Just stop on in today and see why more homeowners and contractors choose Carpet City Flooring Center. Better floors, bigger selection, best value. That's Carpet City Flooring Center. Give them a visit today at 3109 East Hamilton Avenue in Eau Claire and check them out online at carpetcitywi.com.
Get ready to save with half-off deals. A great way for you to get goods and services that you will love and you don't have to pay full price. Be sure to check out all the great savings that half-off deals have to offer. There's something for everyone, so be sure to see for yourself. Be ready with your credit or debit card and get ready to save. For more details and to find out about all the savings, just go to aroundthe715.com.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you.
The Milwaukee Brewers have partnered with GovX to offer 50% off select tickets to active duty military, veterans, first responders, government employees, and teachers at Sunday through Thursday games, courtesy of Vortex. Visit brewers.com/GovX.
Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org, insured by NCUA.
We love when you listen to our local Midwest family Eau Claire radio stations, but did you know all of them are in one convenient location too? It's the Around the 715 app. Take us with you hiking on one of our many outdoor trails in west central Wisconsin. Sync up a station to your Bluetooth speaker while sitting around the campfire on a Saturday night. Heck, you can put your earbuds in and listen on a cruise ship in the middle of the Caribbean. We're based locally, but you can take us with you globally with the Around the 715 app. Living local, but living large.
So she has this habit of tapping her forefinger lightly against her lips whenever she's thinking about what she wants to say next.
It's never what you expect.
I've come to understand that when she does it, she's not just thinking, she's really listening with affection.
It's rarely the same thing twice.
Like, my thoughts matter enough for her to pause and really reflect before she speaks.
And it's always magical.
At Lasker Jewelers, we've started thousands of conversations with customers by asking,
Tell me what you love about her.
She treats each exchange as something worthy of thought, worthy of love.
And once we know
we can show
the perfect piece for her, she'll love. That's the Lasker way.
And for 100 years, it's made Lasker's the easiest place to shop for diamonds and jewelry in America.
My sister and I are humbled that people from around the world have come to our family's stores
to buy just the right one
for just the right one.
It's such a profound sign of respect and love.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Liz.
Before you ask her,
Lasker.
Progressive knows when you're in your RV, you're already on vacation. That's when you become Vacation You, who just camped where there's absolutely no shade. Even though regular you burns easily. In fact, Vacation You burns too, but is too stubborn to admit it, which is why regular you gets in trouble at the dermatologist, because Vacation You doesn't do doctors. So bundle your RV with your home or auto policy and earn an automatic discount from Progressive. And spend the savings on the both of you. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Broadcasting live from the TDS Sports Talk 105.1 studios, it's the Dan Kasper Show.
Dreaming of your own backyard retreat? Well, Home Oasis in Chippewa Falls is here to make that happen. Whether you're looking for a custom in-ground pool, a relaxing Sundance spa, or a Green Mountain pellet grill, they have got you covered. From design to installation and maintenance, Home Oasis is your local destination for backyard bliss. Just visit Andrew and Sam today at Home Oasis at 11293 County Highway X, or visit them online at homeoasiswi.com. He's RJ Cardinal, our Badger analyst from the Zone in Madison. RJ, man, how you doing, bud? You there, RJ? RJ, I think we lost you, bud. Yeah, why don't you try giving me a call back, bud? All right, there you go. Not off to a hot start with the phone line already. Boy, oh boy. So let's see if RJ calls back here and it sounds a little bit better and such. But yeah, there's an article up on ESPN. I know we're in the off season and that, but they ranked the off season for every Power 4 college football team. So Big Ten wise, not a lot of love for Wisconsin. And not even in the top 10 within their own conference. The writers at ESPN ranked them at number 16. 16 for their offseason. That's it. So I want to get RJ's thoughts on that. So let's try this. RJ, you there, bud? So it does for on my end too. So how you doing, bud? Pretty. Yeah, exactly. Have you been able to golf a little bit? Oh, man. Yeah. Well, speaking of maybe not good, let's talk about Badger football this offseason. I don't know if you saw this. This was from ESPN, RJ, where they ranked every Power Four college football team's offseason, and they weren't kind to Wisconsin in the Big Ten. 16th just in the Big Ten alone, RJ. And one of the things that they said went wrong was their limited portal approach on the offense outside of wide receiver and quarterback. And they brought up not adding a transfer running back seemed odd. Would you agree with that assessment? Oh, okay. So, RJ, would you say that, when you look at this offseason and such, what were some of the biggest, I guess, issues or maybe complaints that you would have for Wisconsin? Do you agree essentially with the ranking that I mean, you're talking about one of the bottom 2, 3 teams in this ranking that ESPN did? Interesting. So, defensively, RJ, do you think how would you rate how they did in the offseason? Mhm. Mhm. So, RJ, let me kind of, it might be kind of a weird question to ask you here, but obviously a lot of the talk this offseason is going to be about Giannis and such. So let me ask you this: who's more likely to stay around after for more than 1 year? Is it going to be Luke Fickle or Giannis in your opinion? So you're going with the Lou Williams? Did you see what Lou Williams said about that? Yeah. Hmm. So maybe defensively, then how much is Tressel like major hot seat ish as coordinator for the Badger defense this year? I mean, could he kind of suffer the same fate as Phil Longo? Do you think? Yeah. Hey, before I let you go, to wrap it up, RJ, can you kind of just give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain? Like, okay, so it's May, we got college graduation going on in high school and that, but for a Badger football perspective, what does the now look like? What are these players doing now or in the immediate future? Kind of based off the time when you were with the program. Yeah, no kidding. All right, RJ. He's RJ Cardinal from the Zone in Madison. As always, buddy, we appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of your week and get better at the golf game. Okay, bud? There you Well, hey, if you visit us up here in Eau Claire, our new studio's got a putting green installed in it, so you can work on your short game when you come up here. So it's coming. Yep. Yep. We're getting a hole cut in there too. So, oh yeah. That a boy. All right. Hey, enjoy the rest of the week, buddy, and we'll catch up soon. Okay. You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning. So, yes, and no, too, that because I recorded it off the streaming. Hopefully, this will help the experts figure out what the heck is going on with our phone interviews if you're listening to it on the stream and such. So, thank you for being patient with that. Nux, as I tell my kid, fist pound, whatever. Big thanks. High five. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Regroup. We got some picks and we'll wrap up some stuff. All right. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Since 1952, AJM Automotive Services has been Eau Claire's go-to place for honest, reliable auto care. From oil changes and brake work to full engine repairs, tires, and even towing, their experienced team does it all with integrity and no upselling. And since it's lawn mowing season too, if you need to get that rider, that lawnmower tuned up and such, and get her ready to do battle against those lawns this year, they can help you out with that too. So give AJM Automotive a visit today at 1919. That's 1919 Brockett Avenue in Eau Claire. Surveyor, how many belts do I have to win in order to get in the Hall of Fame? 2 or 3? Well, I should actually strip you from your belt for asking one of your friends to ask me about your Hall of Fame status. That's like asking your best friend in middle school to go ask the girl to go out with you so you didn't have to do it. That's kind of weak, Surveyor. That's kind of weak game, right? So I might have to strip you of your belt just for that tactic alone, trying to weasel in and recruit people to get you in there. Gotta do better, man. Come on. Let's wrap it up with some picks here this morning. Let's start off with the NHL schedule. We only got one Stanley Cup playoff game tonight. Winnipeg taking on Dallas. Dallas leads the series 2-1. It's in Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas tonight to take the 3-1 lead. Last night we had the Capitals falling to Carolina, so Carolina's 1 win away from advancing. They're up 3-1 in that series, and Edmonton defeating Vegas last night, so they're up 3-1 too. So they're 1 win away from advancing. So let's do the NBA schedule. As we mentioned, New York defeating Boston, so the Knicks are just 1 win away from advancing, and it looks like Tatum's going to be done. It sure looks like, as our own Dr. Crow said, it looked like an Achilles. I know other people have been saying it's an Achilles, but man, what a gruesome injury to suffer this late in the season too. Postseason, going to be done, and then you're factoring in for next year too. Tatum and Dame. Jeez. And then Minnesota picking up a win against Golden State last night, so they're 1 win away from advancing as well. Will the Pacers win tonight in Cleveland? Donovan Mitchell kind of up in the air. I think Cleveland wins regardless. Cavaliers take down the Pacers tonight. Denver at OKC. That series is tied at 2 apiece. I'm going to go OKC to win tonight. Let's do some baseball games here. I'll save the first two for the back end of this. Boston taking on Detroit. Give me the Tigers. Let's go White Sox taking on the Reds. I'll go with the Reds. The Cardinals taking on the Phillies. I'll go with the Phillies. The Rays taking on the Blue Jays. Give me the Blue Jays. Pirates taking on the Mets. I'll go with the Mets. Nationals, Braves. Give me the Braves. Marlins, Cubs. I'll go with the Cubs. Rockies, Rangers. I'll go with the Rangers. Royals, Astros. Give me the Royals. Angels of Anaheim. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And the Padres, give me the Padres. The Yankees, Mariners, give me the Yankees. Max Fried's on the mound, and he is off to a fantastic start. Early Cy Young leader right now. Diamondbacks, Giants, I'll go with the Giants. Athletics versus the Dodgers, give me the Dodgers. Twins beginning a series with Baltimore, I'll go with the Twins. They're playing some really good baseball right now, too. Brewers and the Guardians. We need a win. I'll go Brewers, but I'm a little nervous. So I'll go Brewers tonight. So those are your picks for this morning. We've got about 10 minutes left to the top. So we talked a lot about Packers, and is there some drama going on? So Jason Wilde just had a piece up. I was kind of reading it in between breaks and that. And we were talking about, with Elgton Jenkins situation. He put a note in there that a league source, according to him, that Jenkins is potentially looking for a restructured contract with the position change. So, yeah, it was. Let me try to find that piece up if this is going to actually hold up here. Is it going to load up for me? Yeah. Left guard, turn center, Elgton Jenkins has not been taking part in the offseason program, and although Stenavich said Jenkins' absence is not related to a shift to center, the conversations we've had with him, he was open to it, excited about it. Stenavich said one leaked source said Jenkins is looking to have his contract reworked in the wake of a position change. So he does have 2 years left on that 4-year, $68 million extension he signed at the back end of 2022. However, there is no guaranteed money left on the deal. He does turn 30 years old on December 26th. So the Packers, though, too, as Jason noted, have been reluctant to pay players who have reached their 30th birthday a third contract. With a high salary cap number for 2026, he could be a candidate for being released if his move to center isn't a smooth one. So maybe that's where it's at here. It is just May. It is just some of these workouts, so let's try not to panic too much. But, yeah, definitely a guy moving over to center. You'd probably like him to, to get some extra work in and such, but that's not the case. So, but, yeah, we spent a lot of time talking about the Reed and the Elgton Jenkins stuff, and obviously we know a couple games on the schedule now for the Brewers, Bucks. We'll get there. Packers. So, full schedule gets released tomorrow. We'll have a little fun and try to predict the rest of the schedule tomorrow. So we'll put it up on the marker board here and try to figure out. We got two, but we'll try to figure out and try to predict to see how much we can match up. You guys can play along too tomorrow when we get to it as we make the turn coming at you next week. As we were talking Brewers too, yesterday falling, getting blanked, shut out by the Guardians. Freddie Peralta suffering his third loss of the season. However, becoming the fastest Brewers pitcher to get 1,000 career strikeouts. So he accomplished that yesterday and almost the day that he made his major league debut, which was today back in 2018 when he made his major league debut, that famous Mother's Day game in Colorado where he had a no-no going into the 6th and struck out 13. So Brewers again back at it 5:10 today. You can listen to it on the radio dials 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Hopefully we're talking about a win tomorrow before their getaway day. So it'd be nice to win the series before taking on the Twins, who are playing some really good baseball. Get some confidence going into that home weekend series against the Twins. So hopefully we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow too. We'll do some stock reports as well. Whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. We mentioned some of the other NFL games. If you are a Vikings fan, the Vikings, for the first time, back-to-back international games in different countries. They will become the first team in NFL history to play consecutive international games in different countries this season. So their first one, the 28th, in Dublin, Ireland, and then they're in London taking on Cleveland the following week. I gotta wonder, and the Vikings probably had something to say. They were probably asked about it, but it'll be interesting to see if they have the bye week after that. If they elect to take an early bye week just because they've got 2 international games, would they take that early bye week just to kind of regroup and recuperate, if you will, from that? So that'll be kind of curious to see that coming at you tomorrow when that full schedule release gets released. So I don't know if there's going to be any more. I'm not sure if there's going to be any more or such, but be interesting. So also, yeah, we talked about the Tatum Achilles injury too. We talked a little bit about that. We talked a little more Giannis and such. Lou Williams take, if he's not, I think it's an interesting opinion. I think it's an interesting opinion with him commenting on the, if you missed it, Lou Williams said if Giannis wasn't, since he's commenting on Bobby Portis's thoughts, on Instagram, that means Giannis is staying. But I mean, okay, it's a theory. I don't know if it's a full-on 100% foolproof theory, but it's a theory out there. I guess it'll be put to the test here. So, but get ready for more takes, more rumors, more rumblings throughout this whole NBA offseason. Mavericks got the number 1 pick last night, so Cooper Flagg, welcome to the Dallas Mavericks. Get ready for conspiracy theories now. You know it's going to happen. It's already happened. But with the season, with the Mavericks trading Luka to the Lakers, an awful trade by how many standards? I mean, I don't think I've heard anybody say it was a fantastic trade for Dallas. And they get rewarded by getting the number 1 pick in Cooper Flagg. They had like a 1.8% chance of getting the number 1 pick. But how many of you, like I was watching it a little bit last night, I'm like, is it going to be San Antonio? Is it going to be San Antonio? Then you get Cooper Flagg paired up with Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox. That would have been kind of a fun lineup. But, man, Nico Harris, the general manager for Dallas, who has been under so much scrutiny, and he gets the number 1 pick. So now he gets paired up with Anthony Davis and Dallas, and we'll see when Kyrie Irving can come back from his injury, his torn ACL. So, but yeah, it doesn't really matter much for the Bucks when it comes to the draft. Doesn't really much matter at this point. And, you know, after Cooper Flagg, I mean, there's probably not a whole lot of other players that a ton of people know at this point in time. There really isn't. I mean, you look at Duke and was it Knuppel, the Wisconsin native? He's projected to be a potential top 10 pick in the draft. So I guess you kind of take a look at that too. But I don't know. Like I used to really be about the NBA draft, like I am about the NFL draft. I used to love the NBA draft, but this was back when I really loved the NBA, like 90s and maybe early 2000s-esque. Now it's just like, guys get traded. I mean, some of these first-round picks, for crying out loud, too, you never even see them play or even see them get extended playing time. They don't get, in my opinion, I don't think they get enough of a chance to really establish themselves. I don't think they get a big-time chance to do that. Where is, I'm looking at a mock draft on ESPN. I'm seeing, do they have, I'm just kind of looking in round 2. Cam Jones is Marquette projected to be, okay. They got him mocked 46 to Orlando, then John Tonje. How about this? ESPN's got him, John Tonje going number 47 overall to Milwaukee. I think Bucks fans would like that just because, or Wisconsin fans would like that just because it's a guy they recognize and know, and they got to see play at a high level this past year. Why not? Why not bring him aboard? So, all right. So, again, the game plan for tomorrow, we'll hopefully to be talking about a Brewers win ahead of their getaway day. A little past noon tomorrow, first pitch. So, we'll hit that up. Schedule releases tomorrow. We'll see if we get any leaks throughout the morning. Although last year they did a pretty good job of tightening it up, and we really didn't have any leaks in that. We had some rumors in that, but some of those rumored leaks were actually wrong last year. So kudos to whoever did a really good job of being tight-lipped about it. We'll see if that's going to be the case coming up tomorrow and such. But got that coming at you. We'll talk some more NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. We've got stock reports, whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling. We'll see if we get any more drama reports surrounding the Packers too. Hopefully that's not the case, but man, I know the team's together. They're first time the rookies and the veterans are actually together working out and such. So they're in town. I know there's some more pressers coming up here with the local media and that too. So if anything kind of pops out newsworthy, we'll definitely talk about it coming up tomorrow and such too. So, but maybe we'll get some glimpses of the veterans with the rookies for the first time too. Anybody, by the way, planning on getting a Matthew Golden jersey, just wait. Because apparently the Pro Shop's not even printing them out is what I saw. I'd have to double check the Pro Shop's website, but you know, the whole 22 number may not be his number. That may, in fact, not be his number. So don't get a Matthew Golden jersey yet, just in case it is a different number, okay? Don't do it. Even if you got a youngster that wants a Matthew Golden jersey, just wait. Because it sounds like it might not be 22 anymore. Might just be one of those training camp, mini camp, whatever type of numbers. Remember, because like Randy Moss had 18. I think it was 18 when he first was in training camp with the Vikings. And it was 84. So just pump the brakes. Pump the brakes on that. Just in case you were wondering. My kid mentioned it. So I'm like, we're going to wait. We're going to wait just to see what the number officially is going to be. So, all right, DP Dancer up next. Have yourself a fantastic Tuesday. We'll be back at it again tomorrow morning, 6 a.m., same time, same place. See you then.